So yeah, that's the main point of the video for this week. It's quite a strong point, quite a strong view, and content in the terms of it's a strong subject. Because it's difficult. It's difficult to whether to take side. It's difficult to take side. But I don't know the particular case, so I can't really take a side. But I will always be on the side of freedom, and not freedom of everything, freedom of speech, freedom of life. Always, always. But even though this case is difficult because it's a particular case, and I don't know all the details. It's difficult to do it. I would say cautious to take a side. I would say cautious, and also, but also, even though I don't know all the details in this case, I have to say that we need to remember that it's a rapper, a singer, and these lyrics are from the art, from an approach of art. We need to remember that, it's not the same. It's not the same. For me, obviously, it's not the same. A rapper making a song or a poet making a poem, because it's not, or someone just explicitly say something in a tweet. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I'm not saying that anything in a song is right, anything in a poem is right. No. However, we have to remember that is the rappers singing is coming from quite a violence in kind of or aggressive kind of attitude, And yeah, I know it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be. But that's the difference. That's another difference between abuse of power. With an art, you have the choice. You have the choice whether you like it and listen to it, or you don't like it and you don't have to listen. But secondly, is this coming from a kind of raising your opinions as well, which obviously will be an aspect of that as well, is avoiding the actual violence is also welcome. It's also welcome in that sense, because I will 100% allow it. And it's mentioned in this video actually because again, Podemos, the party in coalition with the government in Spain, they say that the critiques can be the acceptance of critique have to be proportional with the level of power. And I agree with that. The more power you have, the more domination you can exercise, the more critique you need to be open to avoid this abuse of power, because you have to listen the people that you are exercising your power upon. You have to. It is abuse of power. You are not listening to people that you are implementing and applying this power, and you don't want to listen to them, then it's abuse of power. So definitely I would prefer, anytime a violent song that a violent act. And obviously I don't agree with the apology of terrorism. Of course I don't agree with that, but we need to be sure that that is what is happening. That is what is happening. And it's not a metaphoric way to speak, typical in lyrics with rhymes, that use rhymes and use poetry, because metaphors are metaphors. It's not the same than reality. So obviously, if someone is talking metaphorically, violently, it should have to have a real action. Is the speech is apology, or is promoting even terrorism in a pragmatic way, then things have to be obviously different. Because I wouldn't agree with the apology of terrorism or violence, but we need to be sure that is purely that, or is is more about a type of art that allow this aggressive talking, no actions, talking. So yeah, obviously that's one point. I was going to say something else. Equally important is that we are able to recognize that freedom of speech is is a basic human right, and freedom of everything, not only freedom of speech, freedom of everything. I will always be on the side of freedom, because we are not in slavery anymore. Slavery was abolished many years ago. Thanks God, and it shouldn't happen. But abuse of power is in some ways is slavery. Really, is the use of people against their will. So yeah, freedom all the way, and then when one maybe will say, well, if you are prompting or allowing terrorism, the person that suffers the terrorism, where is their freedom? I'm not talking about exercising terrorism. Obviously, that wouldn't be freedom. It wouldn't be freedom for the victims. So definitely, it's no. When I'm talking about freedom, I'm talking with the parameters that everyone will feel they have the freedom that their human rights should protect. And one definitely is to not get harmed. That's definitely one of human rights. But yeah, that's just a slight a difference that I would like to, when I hear back this video, I want to see that I have made the difference between the words you said because it was in the context it was allowed without obviously apology anyone that enhance or promote violence. And And even I have an example, and maybe I'm trying to make the subject slightly lighter now. The example is that when I was hearing the songs that as I say, I didn't plan to, but I ended listen to songs. One was from the previous king. And I have to say, I'm no fan of the present king, and I said that in another video. I'm definitely no fan at all. But the previous one, I did I did like it. I liked the previous king. I thought was a nice person. And I know have been a lot of polemics around, and I do say, yeah, maybe he did think bad things. Nobody's perfect. I still think he's an overall a nice person because he have done quite a good things for people as well. In the sense of promoting tolerance around the Spanish people, which I think is very, very opposite to what his son does. That is is not a tolerant person, to be honest. But I thought the previous king was very tolerant person, and every speech I was hearing for him, or every time he have a chance to say something, always came out with something, that show this tolerance for everyone, and one of the songs was about that, and it's not because I agree with the singer, because as I say, I did like that king, with opposite to the one now that which I don't like at all. Yes, I was feeling uncomfortable sometimes. Yes, I did, because one thing that I don't like, even in rappers, in songs, lyrics, is when they become very personal to one person, and especially when they are very derogative to that person, or very, in this case, violent. But again, Eminem had one song that mentioned Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, maybe someone else, but the two person I remember in the song was Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, and he was very derogative. And to be honest, I can be a bit critical about the song, but at the same time, you have to look the overall. He's a singer, maybe it was one wrong song. For me, it was a wrong thing to do, but and overall, he's a singer and he has good songs. And I think that's what we need to be remembered. I did say in the previously that it's a different words coming from a song, from a singer in a song, that from a dictator telling you that's what's going to happen, because they don't give you a choice. They are not singing. They are not telling you, oh, you can like this song and listen to me, or no, don't listen. If you don't like it, no, they are not saying that. The dictator will tell you what's going to happen with you, without any choice. And as I say, Eminem did that, I didn't personally, I didn't like it, but again, I do like as a singer, the songs. And in this case, it's the same. He was doing this song about Juan Carlos, and even though I thought sometimes I feel pretty uncomfortable, and I think sometimes some of the words, for me, it would better be removed, to be honest, in my opinion. But even though I still feel that, it's an art, it has some art value on it, whether you can like more or less, And again, you have this choice, with a singer. You don't have that choice with a dictator, which was the sample on the video show. And the second song was something that I'm support of, which is the party I support, which is socialist, and it was against them. So again, yes, it was some things that are violent. Mention a name, which I don't particularly agree with that. But we are talking about jail. We are talking about jail. And I know apology of terrorism is not right, and it should be some law showing, that is not right. But at the same time, we need to be sure that in this case is that, because as I say, it's a song, it's an art, and it's an art that normally take that form, so we need to be careful with that, but as I say, I don't want to take sides whether I agree with the charges or not, because I don't know all the details. I will recommend cautious for everyone, but definitely to show support to freedom of speech, and but obviously making clear that you are supporting freedom of speech, and definitely no apology to violence. So the two things at the same time, and I don't know, I find it difficult to believe that someone should be in prison for making songs. However, I don't know what the tweets were, but the content on the tweets, which were also mentioned in court. So obviously, as I say, I don't have all the details to take aside, but this is a case of freedom of speech. I will defend freedom of speech, and I think it will be very difficult to make clear that there is no freedom of speech. It will be very difficult to prove otherwise, because it's just singing, really. It's just singing. I don't know. I think maybe I leave it here, because, as I say, I shouldn't take sides for this case in particular, I mean. But yeah, I don't know if I have to succeed in making the video a bit lighter, but it's songs, so it was good to see. I like songs, so it was good to see something that was I like, I like even though obviously maybe the content I wouldn't agree, but I just go over my head, to be honest. I just was listening to the music and the rhymes, but and I didn't give much importance, to be honest, to the particular expressions used, yeah, I mean, that's it. Definitely, it's people want, to protest because they feel that the freedom of speech is being attacked. Then definitely they have to protest. But again, I don't have all the details right now. I maybe, have to develop this subject a bit further. But at the moment, I think I have to leave it here. I'm gonna just say, for me, to be well, to be safe, and I will see you soon. Bye now.